I'm an asshole. I'm sorry, man. I'm just crossed over into Chicago, which is Central Time, and I
Ah,
thought, and she just reminded. She had told me 4:15, and she didn't take into account I'm not in East Coast time. So
all good, man. All good. Glad I
how
got you
you
for a few.
how you doing?
Great. And yourself?
I am scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, and diced. I mean, I've got so much stuff going. I consult the Harley Davidson Motor Company, and we do. I'll give away 18 $30,000 motorcycles this year. I mean,
Wow.
it's part of these big campaigns, and we've got a big one launching next weekend that starts with a bike giveaway, and then it's a chance for them to win one of 5 additional motorcycles. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
wow.
crazy big stuff. So thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, of course. I know you always got your hand in self going in a million different directions, but wanted to get into this show coming up and talk a little Jackyl and solo material with you. And dude, finally coming back to SoCal, finally coming back to Cali. It's been a long 3.5 years since you guys have been back to SoCal.
It's been way too damn long. And people have been fussing at us so bad, getting all over it because they see us all over the country, but yet we haven't made it. So we're going to have to make up for lost time and have a Jackyl family reunion. And as you know, it's not about coming to see the show; it's about coming to be part of it. And you know, we celebrate the fundamentals of rock and roll every single night. We celebrate the fundamentals of rock and roll: two guitar, bass, and drums, chainsaw, if you will, whatever it takes to get the job done. I generally find that people that know what I'm talking about when I say we celebrate the fundamentals of rock and roll, those are people out there right in the middle of it all, getting loud, proud, hard, and honest. And the people that don't know what I'm talking about, those are generally the same people that have a hard time admitting that they masturbate.
Well, you're definitely coming out to our neck of the woods. We're about an hour east out of LA. So you're coming to where the rubber meets the road and more of your type of people. Matter of fact, you're going to be in our neck of the woods at the brand new Stage Red in Fontana on Thursday, April 3rd, which happens to be not only Sammy Hagar's hometown, it's also his nightclub.
That's
So,
what I heard, man. And I love Sammy. You know, I have my Jesse James bourbon, and as we know, Sammy's done great with the tequila and the rum and stuff. And we played a festival together, and I carried him over a bottle of my bourbon and handed it to him. And he looked at me and said, Jesse, this will never let you down. so, so it was really cool. Sammy's what a great guy. We were on the same record label. We were on Geffen Records, and together with John Kalodner. So what an honor to be able to call Sammy a friend.
yeah. Speaking of those Geffen days, I wanted to get into a little bit. We just passed the 30th anniversary of Push Comes to Shove. And man, I got to tell you, I graduated high school in 94. So records that came out around that time hold a special place in my heart. I remember my buddy actually shaving my head one night, drinking in the garage and cranking up that album. But wanted to go back to that time and making that album because I imagine back then, and for Geffen, I bet David Geffen was on the phone himself saying, hey, we need another platinum record like we had on the self-titled debut. Was there a lot of pressure making that second album, Push Comes to Shove?
You know, there was, and we did it in Vancouver, Canada, up at Brian Adams' studio, where Aerosmith, so many people have recorded up there. AC/DC records up there, and I'd been in the studio with AC/DC when they were recording a couple of albums in the same studio. So, but it was a trip because we're just some damn old Georgia boys down from the South, and there we are up, the first album in Los Angeles and then the second album in Canada, and but it was a great experience, and the pressure that we were under was because we were out on tour with Aerosmith.
Oh, wow.
And we spent about 2 years on the road with Aerosmith, and we had a short window to get in and make that second album so we could get back out with them.
And a hell of a crew you had on that. Not only Bruce Fairburn, but also kind of interesting to see assistant engineer Mike Plotnikoff and what a huge career he has.
Yeah, Mike and Mike Frazier. Mike Frazier
Yeah.
Mike Frazier was so much of the secret of the sounds of so many great records. I mean, Fairburn was a super smart, musical guy, but Frazier was the guy that got the tones and the mixes. He was great.
Speaking of the tones and the mixes, and I'm not a musician. I was a bad drummer as a kid, but Headed for Destruction, is that a little talk box on the chainsaw for that one?
Yeah, so we were in the studio and we were going to make the chainsaw talk, like Peter Frampton did with his guitar. We were going to
Yeah.
make the chainsaw talk with him, but it took a healthy voice box, talk box, and I borrowed Nikki Six's from Motley Crue. He had one. He had one made for his bass guitar, and I used it. So I plugged it up, and it sounded good for 2 seconds, and then we blew it up.
Ah,
So I ordered a couple more diaphragms for it. I put the second one in and blew it up. And then I put the third one in and gave it back to him. So we ended up having to make our own out of a 5-gallon gas can and a 12-inch speaker.
oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I always wondered that because that's exactly what it sounded like to me. A little Peter Frampton, Bon Jovi little talk box on there with the chainsaw cranking through it.
Yeah, but with running the chainsaw through it, it damn near vibrated all the fillings out of my mouth. It was it was intense.
Speaking of that time period, man, also too Woodstock 94 and wanted to see what memories you had from that debacle.
Well, I mean, when the stage rotated around and they just kept swapping the bands, and when the stage turned around, there's 1 million people in front of you. I mean, it's the largest crowd that we've ever played in front of. I mean, we've in Europe, there's crowds of 80,000, for the 80 and 100,000, which is massive. The big festivals over there.
Sure.
And but yeah, the Woodstock was it was an ocean of people. It was a big day and a part of history. So we were proud to be there.
And do you remember who was on before and after you? Because that was the other thing about it. Super weird lineup and diverse lineup.
Yeah, we went on. Blues Traveler went on right before us, and I'm trying to think of who played after us. I think was it Aerosmith and Metallica.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of who played after. Yeah, we went on right at dusk. Right at dusk. I mean, we had the perfect time, and then right up against the two co-headliners. So we had a really great slot and a huge crowd. It's cool.
Amazing, amazing. Talking about the old times, I wanted to also get into the current times. Is Jackyl thinking about any new music, or is it just going to be solo albums moving forward for you guys?
Well, I mean, the solo albums that I just put out and that I've been working on. Some of the stuff I've been doing is me playing. I've been playing with my son and Roman, and playing with your son is so cool. I mean, Eddie got to play with Wolfgang with Van Halen, but there's not a lot of musicians that put albums out with their son. I mean,
Right.
It's a big deal to play with my son. I love it, and I'm just enjoying that right now. I mean, I'm at a point in my career. I just do stuff that I'm having fun doing. But I mean, it doesn't say Jackyl's not going to put out a new album. I'm just saying right now I've just been enjoying playing some stuff on the side with my son and recording with him.
Well, dig the solo album, man, and really cool to see that there's what 3 songs co-written with Brian Johnson of AC/DC. Wanted to learn about that and really get you to do your Brian Johnson impersonation too.
Oh yeah. He I wasn't planning on doing. I wasn't planning on writing with Brian. I mean, we've written before, but I knew he was getting ready to go out on this recent tour, and I haven't spoken to him in a couple of months because he was wrapped up in rehearsals and stuff, and I was doing my thing, and I had these songs, and I thought about it. Sure, would be cool for Brian because they were inspired by me listening to some old AC/DC records, and I'll be damned out of the blue the phone. Hey Jesse, how you doing, me son? And I was like, hey Brian. He goes, and I said, man, I said, I got these songs since you call. I wasn't gonna call you, but since you called me, you got to help me write these songs. Send them on down, me son. Well, just he's just a great friend, and what an inspiration.
Yeah, man, and great that he's back in the fold where he belongs, and great that they're touring this year in the States. Finally, got my tickets to see him at the Rose Bowl, and so excited to see him live again.
Man, it's the world is back in the right place again. Brian is the lead singer of AC/DC. That's the way it goes.
As it should be, as it should be. Jesse, I appreciate all the time, man. Last couple of things I wanted to hit you with. And I know you got it in NorCal and San Diego. Still waiting for the Jesse James bourbon to pop up somewhere in the Southern California, Los Angeles area, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Well, tell the stores, any store out there, tell them to order it through Republic National, RNDC, Republic National Distribution. Just tell the store to call it and order it because they can get it.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what's your favorite of the bottles? What's your favorite of your own bourbon? If I was
well,
to
I
get
like the
one
straight. I
bottle.
like this. I like this. I like the straight up whiskey myself. But I mean, we have a honey bourbon and a spice bourbon, and we have a new 90 proof that it's really great. Makes a great old fashioned.
Woo, 90 proof.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. And dude, last thing I wanted to hit you with, we're an old school radio station. You had kind of touched upon them earlier, but we're an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica every night at 10 p.m. And I've been having this little Metallica debate. I wanted to get your 2 cents on it. Been debating kind of their early albums, their thrashy period. Me and my buddy coming down on opposing sides, so kind of wanted to get your pick on this debate. Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had to pick one of those two out of Metallica, which one would it be?
Probably Ride the Lightning. Yeah, I'd go with Ride the Lightning. I mean, but again, I respect the hell out of Metallica. Never, I've never been, I've never been a diehard fan of, I grew up loving, Billy Gibbons was my favorite guitar player. So, I mean, I love Metallica. I never was a Van Halen fan. I mean, I was respected. I mean, we played with them and it was an honor. And we own when you come to the show, you'll see Eddie Van Halen's old guitar cabinets.
Oh, wow.
We own all of his old cabinets when David Lee was in the band. So huge fans of all those guys. But like, I wasn't really into that because I just didn't understand why people didn't realize that Billy Gibbons was God. So that's kind of that and Angus Young. Billy Gibbons and Angus Young, those are gods to me.
just to put a button on it, man. Can you throw out a Metallica song? Is there one that sticks out to you that we could play for you on Mandatory Metallica?
Well, right now you can play on the road again because what's that? What's
Turn the
the name?
page.
The old Bob Seger. Turn the page.
page.
Yeah, put that because I'm back on the tour bus again. We're in Chicago, Illinois tonight, and we're going to be hammering it out all the way to get out to Southern California. So turn the page. Let's go to a Waffle House and get a scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, and diced, and we'll see you when we get town. So excited about playing Sammy Hagar's new place, and spread the word. People, bring a friend, tell everybody it's going to be a Jackyl family reunion. We appreciate you.